Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my beautiful Capricorns. This is a special reading for you. I put a post out, and I just felt like some of you needed a little extra help, like a special reading. Um, and then I got a lot of response. So I'm doing the readings by, the signs that reached out the most. And you were one of them. So we are going to do this reading for you. This is going to be for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided more and more every day. And that makes me so proud because that means you're paying attention to your intuition. That means you're listening to your spirit guides because I read through our guides. So, they'll definitely nudge you if there's a message for in here for you. I feel like if you're here, chances are there's a message. So again, this is a special reading. Your April reading is already done. I will connect that in the comment section for you. I'll just connect the whole playlist. So, you might have watched your sun, but maybe not your moon. Remember your moon. It's important to know because, and other people's moon, because that's where your emotions lie. So that's the inner you. So let's say you're in love with a Scorpio. I would definitely also, you may check out their sun sign, but I would definitely check out their moon also. Um, but anyway, so you could certainly be in love with a Capricorn, platonically, romantically. If that's the case, I hope that I can find you real clarity. Um, whatever wants to come out is what's going to come out, and I already feel like it's going to tell one hell of a story. So I'm excited to get into this. So let's go ahead. Well, real quick, I do want to tell you about the new membership that I started. It's related to Beyond the Veil, free psychic readings. Well, they were free, but, and this is just where I was picking up on energy, connecting directly to my guides. I was going to take it off of YouTube because I have it on Buzzsprout, which is where I do my podcast. Um, but I did share it with YouTube and it got such good response. And you guys, I did open it up and ask if you had any questions, and I got hundreds and hundreds of questions. So I thought, okay, let's not take it off of YouTube. So what I did instead is I made it a membership program. And in this membership program, all the info will be on the, like, if you click the join button, it'll tell you all that. Um, but what I'm going to do with it's called level 2 membership is we will go live. You can ask whatever questions you want. I'm going to try to go live weekly. I am waiting to have 4 people in that particular membership, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna go live. So we have one. I have quite a few on the level 1, which is a thank you, Sandy. It's like a small donation. But level 2, I used to have this membership where this is what we would do. We would go live, and I just miss everyone so much, and I love the closeness. Like I already feel like I know a lot of you on a soul level, even if I've never met you. But that's how my guides. That's why I read the way I read. But anyway, so long story short, I have that membership. Once we get 4, then we're going to start going live. I usually try to keep the group somewhat small, like maybe 20. Um, but again, it's like getting little mini personal readings because you can ask whatever you want and you can ask as many questions as we can fit in on each session. But then the next session, ask whatever you like. I would write down your questions in between. Um, but anyway, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, Capricorn, let's go ahead and get into your reading. We are going to give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We will use the Gilded Tarot to clarify and go deeper. We are going to use the major arcanas. And for your main spread, I was really pulled towards the Tarot of Dreams. The Tarot of Dreams. Gonna bring the lid down, not too much. And let's go ahead and open up your reading. See why many of you really felt like you needed the special reading. I felt it. Like I felt what signs I thought were really going to reply. You know, it's like I can feel your energy at this point. Okay. I am going to say, let's just take a moment. Let's just calm our energy. This is a great time to ask your spirit guides to give you signs of confirmation throughout the reading. You should be able to feel the reading. It's an energy exchange, soul to soul. So you should be able to feel it, but certainly feel free to ask your guides, like sometimes I say random words and I used to censor myself and then I realized that some of you, those are your words that you asked for. Could be a color, a number, or literally just allow me to feel it on a deep soul level. Okay. They will listen. Matter of fact, again, for some of you, they nudged you here. So I would say just try to be as open as you can. Definitely trust your own intuition. All right. Mother Mary gave us 3. Wow. Hello, miracle. What a beautiful energy to start off with, Capricorn. I trust in God to know the perfect solution to this situation. So it's like a miracle is in the works. We have sobriety. My clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate. Sobriety. And then truth. I feel like it's one of the most important messages because if you're not living your own truth, you know what I mean? You got to know the truth from a lie, but you got to know your own truth. That's really what I feel. I am lovingly honest with myself and others. So, miracle. It's in the works. I can feel it. Sobriety. Some of you, it may just simply say, or it may simply mean that there are signs coming your way. And definitely a clear mind will pick up on those signs. Doesn't mean you can't pick them up anyway, but it could be like muddled, let's say. And then truth. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, so let's put them up here. And let's bring in the major arcanas. For anyone who's new, I want to let you know that I always pre-shuffle the decks. That is really when I'm meditating on you, your sign, messages that your guides want to bring in. Again, I feel excited for this reading. I know that some of you need it, but I feel excited for you. So we'll see why. All right. We have the High Priestess. This is your intuition. You know, this is a gift. Your intuition in this lifetime, any lifetime, is really meant to be like your GPS. That's what you want to follow. It won't lead you astray. It's when we second guess it. It's like your higher self leading your earthly self. Oh, well, look what just flipped around. I hope you saw that. Like it literally just flipped around on me. The Hangman. And I don't normally read reversals with the major arcanas, but just the way it just flipped right over my hand, it just felt like it was meant to be. This is an awakening. This is a spiritual awakening. This is where there was a pause. There's probably now action. I love that he is swaying towards the high priestess. Again, your intuition. Some of you are having a spiritual awakening. You know, I definitely, like, I called that in 2024 that this was going to be a year, first of all, for healers. Healers. I spell it out because some people think I'm saying Hillers. Um, but yeah, so I felt like this is going to be an important year for healers. I just feel like you're going to be called into action, so to speak. Doesn't mean like you're saving the world, but your energy, there's something about your energy. And then you add this spiritual awakening on top of that. Wow. Well, I felt like a lot of people were going to have spiritual awakenings. You know, this is the last year of a 9 year cycle. So, great time to have a spiritual awakening because you do want to think about okay, so 2026 is the opening of the next 9 years. How do I want that to look? Who do I want to bring along? What's got to go? Not only does it signify a spiritual awakening, but just the way that he's swaying towards the high priestess, it's like someone is truly now paying attention to their intuition. You know, when you have a spiritual awakening and truth, you can't help but live in the truth. Because if you don't live in the truth, then you're not really having a spiritual awakening. But I also feel like this miracle, it feels well earned now, you know? Like, because you allowed yourself maybe to be very truthful with oneself. Um, you know, you've been working on your spirituality, you've been working on yourself, let's just say. And this definitely feels like a payoff. Now, not all of you are yet in that energy, but it's showing the potential like you can be. Beautiful, the chariot. So we're off. Where are we going? Chariot is, first of all, the balance of the feminine and the masculine. It is the balance of the light and dark that we all carry. The chariot is driven by your intentions. Well, I love that it's mirroring the high priestess, your intuition. You're telling the chariot where to go. It really represents unlimited potential. I mean, just look at the rainbow behind it. But remember, it's your intentions that tell the chariot where to go. So if you believe that a certain energy it can be unlimited, you know, and go the whole way, then I feel it will. You know, be open to like, I may be putting certain intentions out there. I definitely feel like they're being heard and I feel like they're being answered. But I also feel like be open to like maybe how something comes back. I may be trying to manifest like, this, but this comes in. Well, this seems better than this. This is from your spiritual team. This is our human mind. So that's all I'm saying is like just trust in those abilities. I feel like I definitely feel like I feel like you're living more and more in your truth. Like you're not denying, energies that you feel. You're taking some chances. You've had tremendous spiritual growth. And, that continues. But I feel like with the hangman again in the wakened state, it just automatically makes me feel like, well, life just gets better. All right, well, let's bring in the Tarot of Dreams and let's go deeper and we'll know why they're all here. See about this miracle. By the way, Chariot is also called Cancer's Major Arcana. All right. By the way, I'm not even going to put a date on this because this is a type of reading that I feel will find you or you will find it in your divine timing, like right when you're meant to find it. I feel that's how most of my readings are, but you know, like April, I have to put April for the April readings. I mean, I don't have to, but okay. So let's take what's face up first and look at this, the Ten of Cups. I want to tell you though, when I was shuffling this deck, Ten of Cups came out twice. Twice. And now it is your first card. Well, this is a house of love. This is a house of harmony, laughter, joy. This is really the energy that, as it relates to love, this is the energy that we're definitely shooting for. We have the Eight of Wands, fast moving energy. Also, what I think about, I bring about, like the law of attraction. I see those wands going out, and I often feel like those are your intentions. And you do want to think about that, especially with the chariot, because it is your intentions that tell the chariot where to go. It's like the law of attraction. What I think about, I bring about. Well, if you're thinking about the Ten of Cups and you're able to bring that about, we have, okay, I'm going to turn these around. They're all reversed. We have justice. Under the awakened hangman, we have the Four of Pentacles. Under the chariot, almost feels like some of you might be going on a trip or moving. We have the Page of Cups. I love the Page of Cups mirroring the Ten of Cups. And then, interesting, we have the Four Swords. But because I turned them all around, well, I feel like I have to turn that around too. So that's healing. And one of the main reasons why I turned it around is because I feel like the healing process is already taking place. Some of you already feel like you're able to let go of something. You're able to let go of the past, let's say, especially the hardships of the past. And now you feel like you're in much more lighter type energy. I can't help notice justice right in the middle of the reading. And justice often talks about, using that sword of justice to cut whatever ties you need to cut, you know, whether it's a person, a situation. Sometimes it's my own thought system. It can certainly represent karma. And if it does represent karma, well, then you have some good karma coming back. And it probably has been a while since, yeah, I don't know. I feel like since you've heard the word good, like good energy coming your way, but that's exactly what it looks like. Some of you, you could certainly with justice, which is card of Libra, by the way, um, but it's about you ultimately finding balance. That's what justice is about. It's you feeling balanced. And I feel like you can simply ask yourself, if you don't feel balanced, what is causing it? because I feel like that would be your answer. You know, it does look like some of you are moving. But listen, if you're moving, it feels like a good thing. Like I don't feel like my hands being forced. Like I have to move. I feel like I want to move if you are moving. I do love the Page of Cups with the Ten of Cups because the Page of Cups to me, it's meant to be joyful energy. It is the inner you. It can be, a page can be someone you already know. If that's the case, then they're also connected to your Ten of Cups. Page can represent a child. But I really feel like it's the inner you. It's like, I feel like this light is starting to come in, like this stream of light. And this stream of light is for you to follow. It's like the stream of light helps heal those remaining broken pieces. And your action through justice also is a big one. When justice shows up in a reading, its goal is to make you feel whole again. Well, I feel like, listen, if you haven't had a spiritual awakening, then you're on your way. If you've been working on your spirituality, I feel like a lot of you are really learning to trust your intuition more now than ever. Okay, well, let's keep going. Three swords. Now, three swords, of course, it's never good, but it's sitting right next to the four swords. So I feel like, the three swords is heartache, loss, taken right in the heart, these daggers right in the heart. But I feel like that was yesterday's news, or it can be. I feel like there's something within you that's healing, and I feel like it can heal very quickly. Follow your intuition. We have the Seven of Wands under justice. Okay, well, Seven of Wands is about standing your ground. Um, Definitely looks, if you just look at the energy, looks like this person is like defending off attacks. This could be other people's ideas of what you should do, what you should be. You know what I mean? And I also feel the energy of like putting out other people's fires. And I put out one fire, another fire starts. Some of you, it's connected to a person because it's you needing to stand your ground. Well, you don't need to because sometimes I feel like in this energy, I could stay in it. I could continue to stand my ground or I can end it. And I kind of feel like that's what it's saying. Again, it doesn't have to be a person. I'm not going to say that yet, but you are defending yourself. But let me tell you, with you in the awakened state, like however you're defending yourself, I feel like you're only speaking the truth. But that doesn't mean other people are going to accept your truth. Like it could be just someone where your energies are completely different. I believe this, they believe that. Well, again, using the energy of the universal nine, definitely, justice is not a bad thing to see because it's really about you becoming balanced. And I love this healing down here. It's even like a healing over a home. I feel like why a lot of you needed this special reading has to do with the Three of Swords. And I feel like some of you had the question of, should you cut ties? The Seven of Wands, because it's aggressive energy, it can be a lot of ego. I feel like there's certain energies, yes, I could stay and fight, right? Claim victory, but what am I claiming victory over? And was it worth the fight? Because someone caused this Three of Swords. But here you are, healing from it. Or at least you had the ability. We have the King of Swords. Can be an Aquarius, Libra, um, or Gemini. Doesn't have to be though. Well, hello, marriage card. Look at this. First of all, you have two fours mirroring each other. That feels stable. Feels like there's a lot of stability after the fact. I feel like someone did feel stuck, like in a relationship or a job. I just feel like there was a lot of drama around something. And, when I see this king, I often feel like he feels like he's behind bars. Does he feel stuck? But is that an illusion? All right, well, let's see what else we got. Three of Pentacles. Beautiful. And the Queen of Pentacles. Probably you, but can be another Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. The Queen of Pentacles is looking back at the Three of Pentacles. Can I just tell you, I've been getting this a lot lately, and I probably even had it in your April reading. But what beautiful energy when you add the Three of Pentacles mirroring the Ten of Cups of working from home, of doing something that you love. It's work. Don't get me wrong. Well, it could be a craft also. But this is really in the Three of Pentacles, it's about your individuality. Like I know who I am now. Some of you, it's like you have this realization because, sometimes we feel so stuck in life, but we forget we have this whole spiritual team that's just standing by, ready to help, ready to send in a miracle. So it feels like you were healing maybe your inner child, because the inner child, I feel like, is where we take a lot of the pain. Anybody, I don't know, like, what do I want to say? Well, it does feel like of an emotional nature. So it feels like the inner child healing. Now, the Three of Pentacles, it certainly talks about your individuality and doing something that, listen, 100 other people, a million other people may do, but no one will do it like you. So it's trusting in yourself. Some of you, maybe this is what you've been wanting to do, especially with the hangman in the awakened state, right? Like, teach how you had this awakening. And you may be doing it from the luxury of your home. I do. And I have to tell you, I love it. And this queen is looking right over at the Three of Pentacles. So, in the Three of Pentacles, other people are admiring you. They're admiring what you do. I feel like often I may not hear that, but I don't even know that I need it. This queen, look at her looking over. I feel like some of you cut ties with someone, and I feel like by cutting those ties, it did put you in a balanced state. I feel that you're much more balanced, and I feel like it's this action of cutting ties, I feel like is what moved you into the Three of Pentacles. The ability, well, you already have the ability, but to create. Again, some of you, it's from home, or you work like you do something, you like fixing homes, or like an interior designer, a stager. I feel all kinds of things. Let me tell you what the queen's specialty is, though. She's someone who can read between the lines. I say this all the time, but if I had a contract that I needed someone to read for me, I'd bring it to the queen because she will catch any of those hidden clauses that other people might just skim through. That feels like your specialty. And I do feel like one of the ways I can help myself to overcome previous heartache is by refocusing my mind maybe on a craft, something that you're already good at. Um, and sometimes we don't know it until we step into it. I feel also that if this is anything new, that your guides are also helping you. Like they may be helping you, or what's the word I want to use? Guiding you to take advantage of this energy. All right, let's keep going. Queen of Pentacles is also mirroring the High Priestess. So I like that a lot. And it's like she's asking her higher self or her spiritual team, should I do this? Should I create something? Will I be successful? Will other people even take notice? Well, because again, you have a spiritual awakening. If you're doing anything, you could be doing like construction, but your spirituality is still part of it, if that makes sense. Like, I care that my job is done well. Okay, well, let's keep going. Hello, Ace of Cups. Hello, love. Mirroring the awakened hangman. Someone feels like they're ready for love. And the Ace of Cups isn't just any old love. This is unconditional love. This could talk about someone who loves you unconditionally, you love them unconditionally, or you will. It doesn't even have to be romantic love, though we do have the marriage card. We do have the Ten of Cups. And because the Ace of Cups is in the same line of justice, I do feel like again, somewhere in love, it didn't work out. I do feel like you got hurt. Your feelings were hurt, if not more serious. But I do feel at the same time that you're no longer taking that energy. When you have a spiritual awakening, you just don't take other people's bullshit. It's just like you see, right through it. Like, don't lie to me. I'll know it. I'll see it even before you open your mouth. But I also feel like this is representing the type of love that if you're going to fall in love again, that you want it to be. So I feel like you would want someone who is of a spiritual nature. I feel like your morals, like the end game, I feel like are very similar. I don't know that you met this person yet, or if you have, this could be like maybe you're thinking of moving in. Hmm. I do love the Four of Swords mirroring the marriage card though, because it could certainly be the healing over existing relationships. Um, but then again, trust your intuition with that. Because honestly, what I feel more is it's the healing over love that did not go well. Love that did turn into more ego than anything. It's showing you with the broken heart, but it also shows that heart being healed. We have the Page of Wands. I love this page. I like that little side eye. Page of Wands is my risk taker. I'll tell you what the Page of Wands would say relating to love. I'm not going to look back and be like, shame on me. Instead, I'm going to understand that, yes, I have fallen, but I get back up again. And, it may not be immediate, but I get back up again. And then I do take chances. This is not a fear based energy. This is the energy of action. We do have two pages on the board. So, can be two different people, but we'll see. Ah, look at that. The Nine of Swords under the marriage card, mirroring the Page of Cups. This is worry. This is a lot of worry. But the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. Like, let that sink in. It's unnecessary worry. So to me, that says the things that I'm worrying about are things I have no control over anyway. Divine would say, hand that over to me. Take it off your shoulders. Let me deal with it. Matter of fact, I'm probably already dealing with it. So let that worry go. I feel like in the Nine of Swords energy, if I don't really move past this, then I do feel like it's going to show like through the body some way, like high blood pressure, anxiety, sleepless nights. But here's the thing, like all of this is unnecessary. I mean, it's understandable. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like the message is divine is saying, hand it over to me. Also, I feel like trust in yourself, trust in your gifts, trust in your ideas. Understand that some of these ideas were probably guided to you. What I want to say is it feels like in the past, I feel like some of you may have divorced and it may have taken really some time to overcome it, but you are overcoming it. And it makes sense because as you overcome it, then the Ace of Cups comes in. Or you're allowing yourself to feel that. I feel like as it relates to love, it is almost always unexpected. But I feel like for some of you, though, there could be someone that had your attention, let's just say. So I feel like you're being asked to take a chance on yourself and what you want to create, and know that other people, I feel like this is really the message for you, that other people will seek you out. It could feel like a miracle. It's like taking a side hustle and making it my main thing. I feel like right now, the reason why this reading is important, because I do feel like some of you are still in that Three of Swords energy. And I feel like this reading is to help you understand that this isn't the end. It's not the end of your love life. It's not the end of opportunities. In some of these, you're creating yourself. But think of Mother Mary. I am lovingly honest with myself and others. I just feel like the best way to overcome this heartache is to refocus my mind on some type of creativity, something that brings you joy. Again, I'm not going to say that means it's easy. Well, I shouldn't say it's not easy, because I do feel like it has a real flow to it, but it will take your attention. I feel like you just have to trust. I feel like the Nine of Swords is relating to you taking a chance on yourself, but also a chance in love. This page I call this page my Fool. All right, let's see. It's on the bottom of the deck. Five of Cups. Five of Cups. So, I mean, the good news, it's on the bottom of the deck. Two of Swords underneath that, interesting. Like a blindfold. A blindfold over something that was. Five of Cups is when you're focusing on what you have lost, what hasn't worked out, what caused this Three of Swords. It is a five, so it definitely wants change. But the change it's asking for is your focus. Interesting how I said down here, I feel like refocusing the mind helps this healing process so much easier. It makes it so much easier. Now, also, with the Five of Cups, if you refocus your mind, you may have had your heart set on someone that just didn't work out. But I want you to understand, behind this person are two cups. That's a soulmate energy. I'm not surprised, because we have the Ace of Cups, because we have the Ten of Cups, and other things. So it's like, get excited for the future and the potential of what just may show. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. I really didn't mean to take this many cards. I think what I'm going to do is slide these over and slide these up so we have lots of room, and I want you to be able to see them. I have a few people keep asking me, they want an overhead shot, and I am trying to save to get a new phone, because I have a cheap phone where I can shoot video from my phone and give you the overhead. But every time I save, an unexpected bill comes in. Okay, let's do one more shuffle. Give him a cut. Oh, look at that. Hello, Ten of Cups. We'll see if it comes out. If it does come out, that means we have mirroring energy. But how interesting that I saw the Two of Cups twice when I was pre-shuffling your deck. Ten of Cups is your very first card. And then we see the Ten of Cups on the bottom of this deck. Something happening here. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Three of Cups. Joy. Celebration. Could this be a miracle? Could be. I mean, there's just a lot of joy and laughter in this house. And a sword's interesting. So swords coming over the Eight of Wands. Okay, first I want to say, I want to think about that. Because again, to me, the Eight of Wands is like the law of attraction. What I think about, I bring about. So now we have the Ten of Swords that comes over that. We have the Three of Swords right below that. I feel like what this is saying for some, this could have been something that was a repeat pattern that you found yourself in. But in the Ten of Swords, to me, it's the energy of submission because I'm taking these daggers one after another in my back. This person's just laying there. So, coming over the energy of the law of attraction, well, I don't want more daggers to come back right next to justice. So, some of you think about this. You may have been in a repeat pattern. Sometimes we want what we want, but what we want doesn't want us the way that we want them. But sometimes, then, especially if you're able to end this pattern, I feel like then you will find someone who wants you the way you want them. Does that make sense? I feel like the good news is I do feel like you don't want to repeat the same energy again. Again, let's remember that the hangman's in the awakened state. Whether you've reached that yet or not, in the Ten of Swords, like if you stay in that pattern, then I don't feel like you've quite reached it yet. But what it's saying is you have the ability, and yes, it's going to come through truth, like truth that's undeniable. And for some of you, it's like you're literally looking at those swords, and I do feel like you're saying enough is enough. Enough is enough is enough. All right. How slow your cards are coming out. The Queen of Cups. Well, the Queen of Cups is mirroring the Ace of Cups. And she's actually holding this Ace of Cups. I don't feel like she has anything to do with the Ten of Swords because her back is to the Ten of Swords. We have Tower over the Four of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. It is mirroring the Page of Wands. Interesting how your cards coming out one by one. Now we have the Empress, the Mother, the Nurturer, the Creative One. Over the Page of Cups. Boy, immediately I feel the growth. Immediately. Yes, there is a tower before this Empress, but this Empress would have learned from this tower. And the Empress, interesting because she's a three and she's mirroring a three, but she's mirroring the energy of joy and celebration. And then the other three, also on a corner, which is about your individuality and what you do in the world and other people really taking notice of that. The Empress is loving, she's nurturing, but she's no one's fool. There's no way the Empress would be in the Ten of Swords. She probably was, but has learned from that. That's what I feel like the main energy with the Empress is, like I have walked the walk of all the queens. So I have the wisdom of that. And that's what the Empress is about, her wisdom. She doesn't live in the past. Doesn't mean, you know, I don't have happy memories and that type of thing, but she doesn't, she just doesn't take bullshit. Definitely feels like someone's growth. Though I do want to say some of you could be a single mom, could have a child, yet you still have the Ten of Cups. And the Three of Cups, the meaning of that card is a reason to celebrate. Okay, miracle. That Ten of Swords could relate back to also sobriety. All right, well, let's keep going. You know how I felt like some of you might be moving? Well, we have the Tower over the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles, number one, I feel like, is one's foundation. Um, but yet that tower over it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some of you actually moving. The Hermit. So we're in the year of the Hermit. This is about your spirituality. And when you see the Hermit, you'll either see the Hermit going into a cave or emerging from the cave. Well, this Hermit has done their spiritual clearing, let's say. I feel like the Hermit goes through the dark night of the soul. And in this dark night of the soul, I'm seeking the light. I feel like what the Hermit realizes is I am the light. But I also love how I feel like you are spreading spirituality, truth, your truth, but I feel like it's also spiritual truth. It's like your spirit guides feeding you. This is also the representation of this year. Again, that final year of a 9-year cycle. We have the Eight of Wands again. Interesting. We have the Eight of Swords. Okay. Dang. Eight of Swords over the Seven of Wands. Eight of Wands over the Three of Swords. I'm telling you, be careful with what you think that you want. Make sure it's really what you want. Because I feel like, especially if I'm still in the Nine of Swords energy, I could think that I want someone, but I feel like there's only trouble. You know how I felt like this king? He felt like he was behind bars. Well, now we have the Eight of Swords, which is a self created prison. This is where one is trying to protect oneself by building up illusionary walls, really, because they really don't protect you. It's your intuition that protects you. It's your spiritual team that's going to protect you. This is a human energy. It's fear-based. It's where I feel like I'm stuck. But again, that's an illusion. I just feel like be careful because sometimes we want someone who, again, if this is a repeat pattern, I just feel like you really want to be honest with yourself. The only person who can uncreate this prison is the one the one who created it, which would be you in a reading. But this is about a new beginning with the eight. And when you learn to trust your intuition above all, then it's a sense of true freedom. No longer feeling stuck, no longer needing to put up these walls. Especially with the Empress's energy, any energy that comes towards me. Let me tell you, the Empress can read that energy. It must have been what was, because I don't feel like the Empress would have showed. So let's see. Two eights, 88. Someone could have been born in 88. But remember, eights are also about new beginnings, so it could be two new beginnings. Oh my. Look at this. The Ace of Cups again. And then the Knight of Swords. Someone's going to be communicating with you, or you're going to make communication, one or the other. I feel like some of you have a little fear about doing something new, something next. But I feel like what this whole reading is saying is you don't need fear. Again, your spiritual team and your intuition is what's going to lead you. And for some, I want to say save you. This king who I did felt behind bars, now it's showing us relating to love. But who knows? Like part of me is feeling like this king, and I'm saying king, it can also be a queen, um, you know, has definitely suffered the tower, but also has my risk taker underneath it. If someone is not coming in with words of endearment, maybe you are. I hope it's not back here. I feel like your miracle shows pretty quickly, and I feel like it's represented by the Empress and the Three of Cups. So now we have two Aces of Cups. So let's see. We have two Aces of Cups, two Eights of Wands. Um, hello, Ace of Swords. So, Ace of Swords is truth. And I love that it's coming over the Hermit. Your spiritual truth, your spiritual wisdom. Some of you, that's what you're doing. You talk about it. You could have a channel. Or maybe you're just talking with someone. This is also my yes card. And coming over the Three of Pentacles, again, your individuality and a craft, something you're already good at. And every time I say that, something you're already good at, some of you, yes, you already have these talents, but you may not know it until you move into it. I feel like spirit will pique your interest, and that's what's going to have you looking at this energy. But the Ace of Swords, it's your voice, it's your truth, and it can certainly be some type of communication. Some type of communication is coming in, unless it's you communicating with another. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands, passion rushing in. We have, well, look at this. Look at this. King of Swords, Ace of Cups. King of Swords, Ace of Cups. This king doesn't have any bars in front of him. His sword is up, so he probably used the sword of justice. To me, that means that one has freed themselves. I do feel like this is you, male or female. And I feel like this other person, I don't know. I feel like it's probably two people, but we'll see. Well, hello, Ace of Wands. Right over the one energy other than the Empress that I feel will take that ace and go to town with it. This is about passion being ignited. Well, it's surrounded by two aces of cups. It is action oriented. This could be why I feel communication. Um, it is mirroring the tower, so it's after that tower. And it's falling on what I feel is perfect energy to accept this ace. Again, I'm saying to myself, okay, I have taken some chances. And not all of them have paid off. So I do have to make a decision. I can either stay focused on the past, or I can start thinking about my future and how I want it to look. And I feel like it's really important you understand that the year of the Hermit, is with great purpose. Look at the aces. Two aces of cups. Ace of wands, the ace of swords. Four cups. Four cups is discontentment or boredom in one's emotional life. But there's a cup coming in. Well, we already see the cup. So this wants you to use your spiritual discernment, whether you accept it or not. It's interesting, it's coming over the energy of worry. But passion ignited. It's almost like your heart chakra being activated. It's like your spiritual team has heard you. Maybe you're doing better and better as it relates to your career, or you're taking some real chances. And by the way, I feel like these chances are going to pay off. I feel like these chances and everything are going to pay off. The one thing I want to say, though, is that Ten of Swords energy that did lead to the Three of Swords, that heartache. Will that change? It doesn't look like it will. So just be careful what you're wishing for, because you just might get it. You know what I mean? And that can be good or that can be not so good. I'm telling you, I feel like who's ever putting these daggers in your back, I don't feel like they're done. I feel like they're done when you say you're done. All right. Queen of Pentacles again. And then the beautiful sun. That's your illumination. You know, the sun is very playful energy, as is the Page of Cups. The sun reveals your truth. Shadows cannot hide when the sun is out. Anything done in the dark will come to the light. And for some of you, you really needed the truth to come to the light. Some of it's your own truth. But the sun really promises you like a brand new day. It is Leo's ruler, by the way. Sitting next to the Queen of Pentacles again. And this queen, she's holding this big pentacle in her hand. So, it's interesting because she's holding this pentacle in her hand, but she also has the Knight of Wands over her, which is passion coming in. Well, we know that to be the truth now because the Ace of Wands is here, and that's passion ignited. So here it comes. It activates my heart chakra. I feel like whoever this may be, they are of the light, let's say. Like I feel like there's nothing to fear but fear itself. All right. Let me look at what do I want to look at? It's an interesting reading, Capricorn. I think what I want to do is I want to look at the Ace of Cups that's connected to the King, and the King connected to the Ace of Cups. So I just want to go right in between it. By the way, this Ace of Wands is illuminating both of these cups. It could certainly be two different people, and both having the Ace of Cups. First of all, let me just tell you that I feel like when you see the Ace of Cups, it does speak about unconditional love, but it doesn't mean that you should take bullshit. There's a difference. This is unencumbered. It's coming in the light. That means there's not issues with it. That means that you can trust it. And let's just say this person makes a repeat appearance. We're very close to Venus going direct. But if this energy makes a repeat appearance, then the sun will illuminate that to you. It doesn't have to be a person. It could just be even your own thought system. Like maybe you just had a really, really hard time believing in love again. That love can be all that it can truly be. Okay, what do we got down here? Okay, oh, I forgot what I was going to look at. The two aces. Well, hello, King of Wands. Interesting. So, this is the King of Action. Certainly could be a fire sign. We do have Leo right there, Aries, Sagittarius. But I really feel like this is talking about someone who, when I think of the King of Wands, I feel like this, first of all, not a fear-based energy. This is someone who moves according to their passions, their desires. This is someone I feel like would put actions behind their words. You know, someone could certainly tell us all these beautiful words, but then show us no action. And then we have the Eight of Cups. So you're finding emotional clarity. That's good. And in this energy, the Eight of Cups talks about looking within one's emotional house, finding as much understanding as you can. Sometimes it's like understanding that some of the cups have been knocked over. Maybe they were meant to be. Maybe there's something that your soul wants. So it looks like that you did this. You're finding this emotional clarity. And this person is heading towards the Nine of Cups. That's inner harmony. But it's also fulfillment of wishes. Some of you, I feel like you don't even know what you're wishing for, but a wish is going to come true. If that makes sense. Another eight connected to these other eights, three eights. Could it be three new beginnings? I want to follow that eight for a second. Eight of Cups, by the way. That's the one. The Emperor. The Emperor. Well, first of all, we have the Empress and the Emperor. You want to talk about a higher vibrational love. It's them. They are my power couple. They are very like minded, but they approach life differently, if that makes sense. I could see both of them in this spiritual awakening. Both of them are people who, they care about the underdog. They want to help raise people up. And maybe part of what I had to learn was some people don't want to be raised up, and it's not my job to raise everyone up. You know what I mean? But I feel like, I love that the Emperor just came out because this is someone you can look up to, male or female, by the way. But man, it's now connecting the Empress, the Ace of Cups, and the Emperor together. And this is after you've left the Ten of Swords and the heartache behind. This is you allowing yourself to have this new beginning. I also love the Emperor as a business owner, but I also feel the same thing with the Empress. I just feel like they go about it differently. I feel like the Empress, she just goes by her creativity, where I feel like the Emperor is more methodical, probably puts plans in place. The Empress goes more by the seat of her pants. Neither is right, neither is wrong. Oh, I shouldn't say neither is right, neither is wrong. That's what I meant to say. But they do have the ultimate same goal in mind, and I have a feeling it's that Ten of Cups. But I could see these two also, I feel like these two could put their heads together and man, they could create success. They just need to come together. They don't even need to do it together. But I definitely feel like someone I could feed my ideas off of and they could help me and vice versa. This to me is a very, very good omen. The Emperor and the Empress. And even if I just follow that line, it brings us right down to the Sun. Nothing to fear here. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. Um, hmm. Trying to think, is there anything else I want to clarify? Let's come down to the Three of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords over it, because I feel like this is what you're doing for a living. And I do feel like it's your creativity. And again, some of you are already doing it, and some of you are just about to move into it. I feel like if I haven't moved into it, maybe I was just a little fearful that other people may not like reach out. If I'm starting a business, how do I know I'm going to get customers? Well, because I feel like whatever you're doing here, it feels guided. And that means that will help guide the right people to you. I don't feel like you even have to worry about that. I mean, I know it's a worry, but I really feel like your spiritual team is like, don't worry about that. Just take action. Okay. I forget what I was going to look at. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take some cards right across the board. And then I'm going to bring out the clarifying love situations. And they don't all the cards don't speak of love. Um, but I am loving this deck more and more. Okay, we have the Six of Swords. I'm so happy to see this. And I'll tell you why. This is you moving on. And what are you moving on from? Go back one card. The Five of Swords. Toxicity. Toxic people. Even toxic thoughts. This is you moving on. This is you saying no more. It's showing you evolving. Again, we have you in movement. And then look at this judgment. This is your spiritual team. They're just like follow us, follow the sound. You know, the Six of Swords temporarily is difficult energy, but it's difficult only for those who have a hard time with change because it is a change, but it's also a realization, right? I clearly know now what's been holding me back. Have I been holding myself back? Like, all truth now. And then your spiritual team calling you to the present moment. Well, that means there's signs coming in. First of all, I feel like this reading is definitely a lot of signs. Some of you, the whole reading is going to make sense. Like the whole reading is your sign. So when judgment shows up, there's about to be some type of rebirth. But because it's your spiritual team, there's nothing to fear here. Present moment energy. Which means even that Five of Cups, right? Where I'm focusing on what I've lost. I feel like you're not doing that anymore. Look at this. And then the Chariot. So it's like your spiritual team is telling you you have unlimited potential, really in all areas of your life. When you're the best version of you, then the best version of someone else would come in. When you're creating and, you're doing it through your own truth, then people will seek you out. Remember the sun illuminates everything, the good, but also the not so good. But it does it to help us see it so then we can make a true decision. Am I going to stay in it or am I going to move on? It looks like you're moving on. And then I just love that then it moves into the chariot. It's like judgment. Your spiritual team brings out the chariot. It's a reminder to you that you really possess unlimited success, that love can be unlimited. It's again your intentions. Okay, let's bring out the clarifying love situations because I feel a judgment right in the middle of this spread now. Again, calling you to the present moment, talking about a rebirth, but that would mean that this miracle is coming into play. I do feel for some of you, the miracle is these aces of cups, but I don't want to leave out your money and your creativity because that's a big part of this reading. So let's give them a cut. But I have to say, I completely understand why many of you felt like you needed this special reading. And I agree with you. Prickly defenses, barriers caused by past hurts block you. Oh my gosh. Be patient. Prickly defenses, barriers. That's what the Eight of Swords is. Caused by past hurts. That's what the Three of Swords is. Blocks you. Be patient. Wow. I feel like the days of being patient seem to be coming to an end because, again, judgment's calling you to the present moment. So, for those who have cleared this past energy, give yourself a pat on the back because it feels like you are listening to your spiritual guidance, even if you don't know. Like some of you may be like, I don't know if it's my spiritual team, but yet you take that chance and you follow what you feel. And the next thing you know, you're in the Ten of Cups. Or you now own a business. Delicate dawn. From fragile beginnings, nurture growth and hold on to the promise of hope. It's like the star card. From fragile beginnings, nurture growth and hold on to the promise of hope. Okay. Um, let's bring out the romance angels. I wasn't going to bring them out unless love came out in your reading, and it did. But it came out in the most beautiful way, you know, minus what you've been through. So let's see what these aces of cups, this four of cups, again, this cup is coming in, but it's asking you to use your spiritual discernment. It is coming over the worry card. But because the Nine of Swords is mirroring the Empress, it feels like that's what was. So I do feel like you're accepting that cup. I feel like, number one, you won't be able to deny the passion. There will probably feel something different about this person because, again, the light, truth, like there's nothing I need to hide, there's nothing they're going to hide. Okay, let's go ahead and give them a cut. I might have already done this, but we're going to do it again. All right. Capricorn. True love. This is a romance of a lifetime. True love. How interesting, because I feel some of you might have been fixated on the past, and like right in front of your eyes, I feel like is a true love. Judgment is certainly pointing that out. And then look at this wedding. This situation involves marriage. Well, that could be the miracle for some of you, but true love. This is true love. This is a romance of a lifetime. I feel like don't let fear come in the way, come in between. Take a step forward. I feel like that's all you have to do is take one step into it, and the rest will just reveal itself. Wedding, it doesn't have to mean that two people are getting married, but to me, what it means is two people making an ultimate commitment to each other. Some of you, you're leaving someone that you may have loved, but I feel like in that love came a lot of issues. And part of it could even be you, like you maturing, because remember the Empress, she started as a queen, right? She's gone through all the queen's past experiences. And now that is her wisdom. Same thing with the emperor. It's like, yes, we can look back. And the hermit does want us to look back, but only for spiritual clarity. If you're in a repeat pattern, well, the sun's going to point that out to you. But it's doing it to help you. I mean, look at what all this movement, where it's moving you to. True love. Well, that's exactly what I feel with the Emperor and the Empress in the same reading. And this Ace of Cups connecting them. I mean, come on. And then your spiritual team saying that this love really has no limits. The only limits that will be on us is what our human cells put upon it. I'm not going to say it's issue free, but I feel like in this type of love, especially with the Ten of Cups, I feel like if there's any issues, we work it out. We talk it out, right? Especially with the Ace of Swords and the opening of this spirituality. What a reading, Capricorn. I feel like I say that after every one of your readings, but they never disappoint. I just want you to understand that you have to know your own worth. And I feel like when you do better, life does better. When you cut out whatever has become toxic to you, and it could be multiple things, but you are having that realization, you are listening to your spiritual guidance, and look at what they bring in true love and wedding. So when the Chariot says that this love has unlimited potential, well, to me, the wedding would be the ultimate destination. But again, it doesn't have to mean that we're getting married, but maybe you will be. Maybe you will be. So I feel like you have more than one miracle coming in. But listen, I feel like these miracles are because of you and the work that you've done on yourself and the areas that you've cut out of your life that you just know hold you back one way or another. Sobriety. Keep that in mind, right? Because your spiritual team is here and they want to guide you. They are telling you that this is true love. but you do need a clear mind. And maybe that's what some of you have also been working on. I feel like you're just evolving and evolving, but I feel like so is someone else. I always feel like the Emperor and the Empress are the perfect match. You know, they're really opposites, but they have the same goals. They're opposites, but they have the same morals. They're where they're opposites is how they approach a situation. The Emperor might be a little slower, but he wants to be sure. Where the Empress is just trusts that intuition and she moves into action. Again, neither one is wrong. It's however they, I feel like both are reaching their ultimate energy. Feels like both are having this spiritual awakening. And by the way, what's right next to spiritual awakening? The Chariot. Well, your spiritual team calling you to the present moment, telling you that there's about to be energy that I feel is going to just make you so, so happy after what feels like a difficult time. So I get why you wanted this reading. Um, and I hope you guys watch it to the end. And you know why I say that? Because those who turn it off beforehand, they don't know that this is true love. They don't know that this has the potential of really lasting a lifetime and beyond. Is this a soulmate? Of course it's a soulmate. And that's exactly what the Five of Cups is telling you. Don't focus on the past because there's two cups that you just don't know about. Some of you may have a clue, but this is now about taking action. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. I feel like there's miracles like sprinkled all throughout this reading. Some are very clear, and others are like kind of mysterious, but in a good way. All right, guys, I thank you. I pray that this reading brings clarity and hope back to those who really felt like they needed this reading. But listen, I don't feel like it's only for those who felt like they needed a reading. I feel like some of you don't even know that you needed this reading. And then you watch it and you're going to be like, oh, it's exactly what I needed to hear. So I trust in my guides and I trust in your guides. And I'm going to let that be. I love you so much. Thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye, Capricorn. And those intuitively guided.